Why are we choosing to do network marketing? Somebody kick us off. Is that your phone going off nuts? All right, so what I just asked, by the way, is I said, why network marketing? Why network marketing? Why use the network marketing business model as a model for you to attain whatever goals you want or whatever aspirations you might have? Why network marketing? Anybody get us started?
Lets you start a business without having $100 grand in capital to do it with.
Okay, very good.
Because there's no limit to how much you can do.
So there was no ceiling, absolutely.
You get to be your own boss, make your own schedule, and kind of you choose how successful you're going to be.
Excellent. Very good point.
Yeah.
Anyone else? I think, Catherine, you're trying to talk, but unfortunately I can't hear you. Let me see if you're muted. Oh, yeah, you're unmuted. I don't know why I can't hear you. Well, we'll come back to you in a second because
Okay, because it's duplicatable and you can teach others to do the exact same thing. So it's like unlimited potential for the growth.
So if you guys couldn't hear Tina, I picked up what you were saying, Tina, but if you couldn't because you're out and about or whatever, she said that it's duplicatable and that you're able to actually help others be able to be as successful doing the same business as you. Anybody else have any other points?
It helps me come up with different ideas to step out of the box a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Very good point. What about, Catherine put on here, she said, so we can connect to people and make real changes in their lives. Fabulous point. Absolutely wonderful. Anyone else? And we'll kind of talk about all of those as well. And we'll sort of wrap things up about network marketing. Going once, going twice. Okay. So what we're talking about when we talk about network marketing, it's kind of a tarnished, it has a tarnished reputation. Okay. And unfortunately, reputations can actually be both beneficial, but they can also be extremely, really detrimental at the same time. And this is what I mean. So we all know of network marketing. Now, for anybody who was probably older than the age of about 30 or 35 here on the call, we remember certain companies that sort of set the standard about how network marketing sales were going to work in the United States. It was a very novel business model. The business model was to sort of get in early and try to get folks to get on your team. And, by doing so, you would be able to create this pyramid, which we'll just deconstruct here in a little bit. But you were able to create a pyramid and really just kind of watch the money flow in. All right. It worked real well for only just a handful of people. And the only downside is that unfortunately, we still have that same stereotype today. We still have folks who are out there who think that the direct sales companies, that's all we're trying to do. We try to get as many people up underneath us as we possibly can. It's not about helping anybody. It's convincing you that you are buying something that you don't need or will barely use. And they come with an expensive price tag. You're expecting me to pay a certain amount of money every single month to become and stay a loyalty member, and things like that. So unfortunately, direct sales companies and pyramid schemes have become the talk of how all direct sales companies are. And unfortunately, those are one of the largest objections that we always have to deal with, is that we have to deal with the objection of, so you're in a pyramid scheme, right? You're just trying to get me to jump on. And some people have actually done it in the past and they've been unsuccessful with them. So why are you any different than any other network marketing company that I've ever been with, right? So that is a very large stereotype to overcome. And it's a difficult one. And so what I offer to you is that for the same reasons that you decided, you wouldn't be on this call if you weren't actually here for a reason. You've actually understood and you've been sort of woken up to the new version of direct sales companies. There is a lot of successful people who are doing direct sales companies. They make seven-figure incomes. And everybody who does those really loves the platforms in which you described. And we'll go ahead and go over them one more time. So there's no ceiling, right? You get what you put into it. All right. It's not something that folks, you can't just wake up and put on a smiley face and expect great things to happen. It comes through effort. Okay. It comes through work. And, the best part about it is that the more that you decide to place into that work and the more that you strategize and create really good business plans for yourself is the better your business can do. And so that's one of the things that people I know really need to find out about network marketing these days is that it's not like that as it was maybe a couple of decades ago. The next point was being able to be your own boss. Fabulous, fantastic point. It's very true. You can tell yourself when you want to work. You can tell yourself what you want to do. You can tell yourself who you're going to talk with today. What are going to be my leadership things that I'm going to focus on first thing in the morning to set me up for the rest of my day. You are able to do these things. You don't have an agenda that isn't planned through and thought out by you and you alone. All right. Very fantastic point. Another great point that was brought up is that it gives you the capability of being able to help others. And this is the one that I'd like to talk about a lot. Okay. But we'll sort of table that just for the time being. Another thing is it doesn't cost, just like what Holly said, it doesn't cost a lot to come in. It requires, a low input strategy. Anybody can get started about where they're at. I mean, just to really help you guys have something to think about as you're explaining, doTERRA to others, is that we actually have a person who was from a battered wife's home. Came from a really, really terrible relationship. Okay, we'll just call it that. Didn't even have enough. So after that had been finished, didn't even really have any money to their name. Couldn't afford even the $35 introductory fee to be able to actually join as a member in doTERRA. So they appreciated the oils. They appreciated what the company stood for. They appreciated what the oils can do for both themselves and their family. And so started scrounging, a little bit here, a little bit there. After a certain period of time, we finally had the $35 to go ahead and become a member of doTERRA. Became a member of doTERRA. I still don't have any oils, right? So now I had to start scrounging again. I had to start picking things up, doing odd jobs, things of that nature, so I could start affording oils. Time passed. I'm going to hit the fast forward button a little bit, and time had passed to where we finally had some oils. Now I need to start sharing these with people because these things have changed my life, and I want to go help and change the lives of others. Well, guess what? That person is a diamond today, and that person is still an active builder in doTERRA. Okay, so absolutely rags to riches concepts happen all over the network model or the network marketing model. And I want to let you know that you're not any different. Okay, everybody has their own story and everybody has something that they can do to build their business the way that they see fit. And that is one of the largest things that I think a lot of people don't understand is that it's so unique. We can sit here and we can talk about business building strategies and I can give you all this gloriously amazing information. But the fact of the matter is that you have to be able to take that and tailor it to you. Tailor it to your situation. The way that Jackie did her business is not the same way Tina's doing hers. The way that Catherine's doing her business is not the same way that I would do mine. Everybody is unique, and that's what makes it so beautiful as a business model is because it is specific to your circumstances. It's specific to your situation. There are lots of stories that we have heard over the course of a couple of years of being with doTERRA that are absolutely amazing. Stories of triumph. But with those stories of triumph, guess what that also had? Massive setback, massive devastation. Those things happen, and so the only way that we can prove character is by how we bring ourselves back up from devastation and continue to, as we would say in football, you put the strap back on and you get back out there and you play another game. That's the only way it's going to happen. And so you might get your butt kicked. You might get, dirt kicked on you. You might feel like the world's worst person at times. But you know what? We've all done it. We've all felt it. You know, I felt it a couple of days ago. I felt it a week ago. It happens. And so with those experiential pieces of setback, we set those things up because that will help with proven character. And so that's one of the things that I really appreciate about network marketing these days, because I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I was one of the largest skeptics. I myself, even at the age of about 15 or 16 years old, was invited for a free meal to be able to talk to somebody about stuff. At 16 years of age, I didn't even realize that I was allowed to actually participate in direct sales companies at that age. But apparently, somehow, some way, people just didn't care back then. And so they wanted to get you in. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is that, like, we've all been tarnished in that way. But the fact of the matter is that really made me stereotype direct sales for a long time. And even when Jackie said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and start with doTERRA, I was like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, here we go again. You know, we're gonna end up having issues with, you know, you're gonna have to put in a certain amount, and we're not gonna see any real growth, and blah 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 blah. But then, of course, she 100% proved me wrong. And all of you guys every single one of you is a complete and wonderful story that plays into hers. You know, you guys have all set the stage for that story. And we can't thank you enough for it. And I mean, it wouldn't be, if it wasn't for direct sales, how would that have ever happened? You know? So I like to take the direct sales approach and sort of mirror it, you know, like two hands, if you will. They're not exactly the same thing, but they're both equal and reasonable strategies for doing things. But you got the network marketing side here, which has all of these wonderful pros that you guys have all come up with. And there are some certain cons that we'll talk about later too, but there's some really great, wonderful pros about it. But then let's talk about the corporate America way, right? So what are we supposed to do in corporate America? The things that actually we stereotype about because of network marketing, right? So like, we're supposed to step on people, and we're supposed to scratch, and we're supposed to, you know, ridicule and work our way playing nice with people in order to be able to get the next promotion. It's all about looking great in front of the eyes of our boss. You know, it doesn't matter necessarily with only but a few handful of professions. Is it really based upon your ability? You know, like, it truly is a matter of, have you checked the boxes? Did you show up on time? Have you shown up with at least somewhat of a smile on your face, which unfortunately many days we don't really get that out of folks who deal with the corporate America grind. We deal with a lot of things like, you know, did you have a certain amount of performance, if you will? And who knows what those performance standards are? They can change as the day goes on. You know, so instead of checking the box, we can actually start being ourselves, being who we were destined to become, and helping others, because of the fact that we aren't worried about what others are going to think of us, and we're not worried about what our boss and our next performance report is going to talk to us about. And they're not going to dangle a promotion in front of you saying, if you stick around for another 2 years, we promise we'll give this to you eventually. Right? So what are we supposed to do? I mean, our children these days are the mindset, and is amazing. I've been doing lots of research on this, is that, like, kids that are in elementary school are thinking about college in America. What? Why? Let kids be kids. Okay? Let's stop filling their heads with what school they have to go to, or else they're not going to mean anything in life. Let kids be kids. So, you know, then we get to high school, and it's like we have to perform because we have already had all of this pressure built upon us over the last decade, and we're only high school students, you know, and then we graduate high school with hopefully a good enough GPA to get us into that college that we've always thought about when we were 4. Okay? And then we get into, you know, being like this way of, like, you know, we have to select a major, and we have to be able to do all of these things, okay? There's nothing wrong with being a dreamer. I just saw a question, by the way, about this, or at least a comment, and then I was made fun of. But needless to say is that, like, you know, I think that it's hilarious when we think about, like, it's fine that we have children that are dreamers, folks. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying, though, is that please, let's let them be dreamers. If they want to think about college, great. But let's not have a society that puts that undue pressure. I promise, but I will stop on this tangent. But what I'm saying is that, like, we have these expectations that as long as if we have to get a certain type of degree to ever mean anything in life. And that's not true, okay? You are destined to be something. You are absolutely destined to be something. Your choices will make you that way. And that's what a network marketing strategy will allow. It'll allow you to be you. And that's what we need, is we need you in our world. We don't need somebody who had all this undue pressure about these predetermined things that if I didn't do this, then that's what I was meant to be. I was meant to be a person who had a degree that did this and had to work this way to go make somebody else a lot of money. You know what I mean? I was a member of that group and I had to make them a lot of money. So, I urge you to realize that you mean something in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you're destined to be something. And you can do that when you have a heart of abundance and when you allow yourselves to actually just be you. Okay? Just allow yourself to be you. So, I promise I'll come off of my little soapbox on that one, but I wanted to talk about those particulars when it comes to, how we can be. I'm actually rereading the book from my buddy Neil called Being the Starfish. And you can never read it enough because it's like one of those little books that you can kind of like put little tidbits. By the way, I make nothing. Don't buy this because I said to buy it, because I didn't say to buy it. If you want a copy of the book, we'll talk because I can give you one. But I'm not trying to make him any more money. I mean, like, it's just, you got those books that talk to you and speak to you, right? And so, like, there's this really great, I think one of my favorite chapters is actually the second chapter. It talks about being a selfish, S-E-L-L fish, and then also talking about being a starfish, okay? And these are concepts that a lot of people can, utilize in their own experiences. And so I would offer to you that, like, this little dialogue that happened, with I think it was called Selfie the Selfish, right? That this person went out and, like, they joined a network marketing business, and, like, all of a sudden, like, it became about the product, and let me hurry up and go out and sell it to you, and let me tell you about how amazing it is and all these great things that we got going on. And, that didn't work, right? So that, a month or 2 or 3 or whatever passed by, and there was no success. And so they were like, I know what I should do. Let me go ahead and go to social media, because that's it. That's the microphone and the platform that I need. So I'm going to start putting all these really great graphics up and start going crazy with all of that. And guess what? That didn't work either. And so, I would offer to you that the moral of that story is, people don't want to be sold something. People want to buy what they like. All right. If we were to look at each and every one of your checkbooks, I would be able to have an opportunity to see, like, what matters most to you. By looking at somebody's financial statements, you can see, like, the money goes toward the things that they believe in, and the money goes towards the things that they believe will help them and their families. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, do you have, like, a checkbook that, like, looks like real choppy and all chaotic and all over the place? I wouldn't think so. I think that you can actually analyze some real spending strategies out of that checkbook or out of that bank statement, because your money goes towards the things that you believe in. And so we don't want to come off as being salesy people. We don't want to come off as like, you need this, or let me explain, like, how amazing of a deal this is, right? We need to come at them instead with a concept of, how can I serve you today? How can I help you today? All right. So sit down with people and get to know how they are and build a relationship with them. Like, what are your top 3 health concerns? Like, if there was something that we can help you out with today for your optimal health and wellness, what would that be? And then be quiet and let them start talking, because that will open up doors that you probably never thought. Because now we don't have to worry about trying to sell them anything, because now we're just actually sharing with them. We're allowing them to share. And then that's when you can go back and say, okay, well, I think that, these are the types of strategies that if I was in your situation, these are what I would do. And then you're coming off as a person who's equivalent. You know what I mean? Like, we're not playing a practitioner. We're not playing somebody who does have a degree and being able to do that. We're just being a friend. And that will usually make so much more sense to somebody if you just simply level with them. You know, like I just went on a couple of years ago and we just bought our vehicle, which I'm going to tell you right now, don't buy new. That's a whole nother story. But don't buy new, right? Because like financing a vehicle, unless you got the cash for it, please don't get yourself into more debt because, oh boy, it's okay. That's also not the American way, is to be into debt. But anyway, so we walk in there and like, you know, the salesperson who was really nice and stuff like that flat out said, well, what car do you think you can see yourself in today? And immediately I go, okay, that's a sales pitch. You know what I mean? Like I immediately said that to myself. As I said to her, I said, listen, it's real easy with us today, right? We know what we want. Just please give us the best value that you can. And we absolutely want to make sure that you understand that you don't have to sell to us. We are buyers. We are here to get a vehicle that we need. All right. And then it was almost like you could just see the weight of like that whole, like, I have to sell to these folks, like it'd be lifted off that person, because it was like we released them of that in terms of like what we just said. We just wanted a good deal. Just please give us something close to what we want and make it a good deal. That's it. That's all we need, you know? And so like the conversation became really great and we got the vehicle that we needed, you know? So that's what we want to do with, you know, our product, whatever product that might be in network marketing. You know, we're here because we're all affiliated with DoTERRA, but, you know, like we want to help somebody understand the value of what they're getting, you know, like understand the strategy of the fact that they're investing in their health. You know, and we don't want to sell them anything. We don't want to like, you need this kit because, you know, for such and such reason. You know, like that person needs that kit because that person needs that kit. Those are the things that they need, you know, based off of your conversations with them and the things that you guys have come up with together. You know, that's what you're actually doing. So therefore, you're making a recommendation saying, if I was in your shoes, which by talking to you for the last 15 minutes, I feel like I am, this is what I think I would start off with. You know, build the value. Like it's often said that the first 4 minutes of a class in which you're presenting anything, any type of a product, the first 4 minutes are the most impactful. That's where you actually determine credibility. Like a lot of you, even on this call, you've either been completely engaged with me, or I've lost you completely and you've signed off. Within the first, because I've definitely been talking for longer than 4 minutes. You know what I mean? You've done one or the other. And you might still be here, but maybe you're checked out mentally thinking about what other stuff you got going on today. And that's fine, because you know what I'm saying? Like I try to engage as many as I can, but you can't engage everybody. But I got to make my first 4 minutes as engaging as possible, because that's going to set me up for success. Because, you know, often people will say like, well, how do you close? And that's something that we'll talk about. But it's like, you close the class even before you bring people to the class. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to like all of the things, like with marketing, I wish I had my, you know, stats in front of me, and I apologize for that. But there is a statistic that I saw recently within the last year that said, you know, the first contact with somebody, I think it's like 2% of people actually purchase anything. Anything. And that could be like the newest iPhone, that could be like the newest TV, that could be the newest car, whatever. 2% actually get it on that first contact, right? And so like as you increase your contacts, that's when the percentages of people who actually purchase product go up significantly. It actually takes usually about 5 contacts, from what I remember. It takes 5 contacts for about 70% or more of those people to finally start purchasing. And so what can we really deduce from that sort of statistics? There's beauty in the follow-up. There's beauty in the relationship. There's beauty in the connection. You know, you're not going to sell everybody the first time. I mean, if you do, then you've sold something to them, and you probably won't have a loyal person who wants to repeat. You know what I mean? Because there's both internal marketing strategies and external marketing strategies, right? The external is bringing people to class, but then the internal is, you know, having them understand the value of the loyalty rewards program. You know, not just a matter of, I want your $100 a month or whatever to purchase stuff you don't need because, oh, by the way, maybe someday you'll want commissions. No, we don't need your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want you to do what you were meant to do. We want you to go out and share. All right. The rest of the details and all of that stuff will take care of itself. All right. Just get out there and share. Have 4 to 8 classes a month. Get those people to that class and make connections, make relationships. You know what? If they didn't buy that month, who cares? Invite them to the next class. All right? Because it may take more than 5 contacts. People want to make sure that they are certain about what they're doing. You know, and that's what it comes up to us for. Somebody did that with us, right? So we want to pay that forward. Somebody took a lot of time to invest in us to get us to actually do something. So therefore we need to be able to pay that forward as well. You know, so what if you don't have 100% close rate? It's probably because you had, out of your 6 people that showed up, 5 were like, you know, brand new, never even knew anything about essential oils. And then all of a sudden you bring them to a class. I mean, like, that's a lot of information to process in 45 minutes. You know, so like maybe they need to be followed back up again. Like, hey, you know what? I'm having a class next week so we can talk more. You know what I mean? So like just realize that, you know, you've heard this strategy, or you've heard this saying before, is that this ain't no sprint. I'm saying it like myself. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is something that requires time and hard work and dedication and practice and effort. All right? It's not something you just wake up and all of a sudden, look at that, I'm a quadruple presidential diamond. It takes effort to get to that. All right? So all of you, every single day, you're doing the things necessary. We're just trying to help streamline those things so you understand what additionally I can do in order to be able to actually get to where I want to get. And so I want to start off, or I should say at this point, I don't necessarily want to be super long-winded, but let me finish off with 7 things that are actually out of the Starfish book that I can't ever stop hearing these, because they're such a great reiteration of what we are hoping from you and then what you should actually expect back from us, okay? So first and foremost is that we would love everybody to actually be coachable, okay? We want you to be coachable. That means that, like, you know, you get information from us and you don't think like all of a sudden, what terrible information you just gave me. Because you know what, we're human beings too. We're prone for error. Okay. But what we're saying is that, like, we'd appreciate you being receptive to listening to the information, because 2 things. One is that it's probably something that we have done more than once. The second thing is that we promise that if you were to receive it and think about it in your own business building strategies, that it's not advice that we think would not be beneficial for you. All right? So please be coachable. I mean, Michael Jordan didn't win 6 NBA championships because he was uncoachable. All right? That team was coachable. And that's the reason why they were able to be so successful, is because they actually knew that, yes, they had a lot of great talent, but they needed to be able to keep taking it to those next steps. And everybody can learn something every single day. Okay? Secondly is that we always want to be able for you to be positive. Okay? We understand that there is absolutely moments to be negative. Okay? And that's what we're here for. We want to be able to also hear your frustrations. Okay? But maintain positivity, because like draws like. Okay? You walk out there, and if you're happy and you're exuberant and you show joy, guess what's going to come back to you? If we're out there and we're grumpy and we're upset, negative feelings, if you read some psychological, research studies, negative feelings are very contagious. Mm-hmm. All right? But I offer to you, so are positive. Positive feelings are contagious too. Okay? So go out there and just be positive. I mean, like, let's look for the positive even in setbacks. Let's look for the positive even when you're going through a trial. Okay? The next thing is that we like you to work hard. I think we've definitely beat that one up. Okay? You got to work hard. We can't guarantee success. Okay? But if you work hard, that equals the opportunity and the foundation that you need to be successful. Okay? The next thing is that we want you to study hard. I mean, people are counting on you. They want you to be able to give them these alternative, kind of like natural solution strategies. They need to be able to actually, look at you and say, like, okay, this person's very well versed. And then with that also being said, on the flip side of the same coin, you're going to be confident. You know what I mean? And the best part about it is be coachable with that too. There's been so many times that I myself did not necessarily know like what type of a recommendation I should consider. And I said, you know what? I don't want to give you less than a 100% answer. So can you please give me until like the end of the day or even tomorrow, and I can call you about it and make sure that we get it right. I haven't met a person yet that is like, okay, great. Because you know what I mean? Like people deserve our best. And it's okay. They don't believe that they want your best like right now. Like they want like how good you are at that point. But if it comes to making like a recommendation or something like that, they have no problem giving you the time to be able to go ahead and call them back. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. The next thing is that we want you to be level with us. All right? We want you to be level with us. So like if there's something going on, please let us know. Okay? And you don't have to necessarily tell us the specifics. Okay? But the last thing we want is like knocking on the door, if you will. We give you the call or give you a Facebook message saying like, all right, so what's going on with, you know, such and such as LRP? Like, I mean, that's just, nobody likes those calls. So, you know, if we're proactive and we let people know, like, you don't understand, I'm going through something right now. I'm so sorry. You know, I'm just going to have to kind of take a knee, if you will. And I promise in a couple of weeks, maybe it'll be better. And that's fine. And then guess what you do? You support. That's all we do. We're just going to support. We don't need to know the specifics. You guys lead your own lives. We just want to let you know that we're here for you. Okay? And then the last two is that, or excuse me, the last one is, you know, be somebody who finds the third way. Okay? Do not ever think that plan A, if that one doesn't work, then plan B, okay, wait a second, that one doesn't work. Folks, you might have to formulate a plan C. And the thing is that plan C might need to be on the fly. You know, my time in the military, you know, we'd have this like amazing mission plan. We'd be like, okay, that's it. This one's going to work, right? And boy, did I make the mistake of like believing that the first couple of missions that I led. We'd literally start the vehicles and get ready to roll out, and guess what happened? Murphy. Right? And if we don't know what Murphy's Law, it is anything that can and will happen does. Okay? And so we'd roll out and we'd do that, and like all of a sudden on the fly, we'd have to come up with a third way. And that's what exactly you have to do. You have to be able to find that third way. Okay? There's going to be moments of sunshine and then moments of terrible storms. You got to be able to weather them both. Okay? And the only way to be able to do that is you got to find that third way. All right? That doesn't seem like a lot of like crazy stuff that I believe that we're asking of you. Okay? Does not believe that. Hopefully that's not crazy. I think that's something that all of us can give. Okay. Now, these are the things that you're going to receive from Jackie and myself. Okay. We'll always believe in you. Always. We will never stop believing in you. All right. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you have taken it upon yourself to join this journey with us. So guess what? We believe in you. All right. The next thing is that we will also be positive. You will never hear us complain. Okay. We literally will complain to each other. We'll complain to other people who are outside of doTERRA, but we'll never absolutely complain to you because you know what? You don't deserve that. Because if we start complaining, you're going to start complaining. And there's no point for doing that, okay? Then that just distracts from everybody and nobody's able to maintain their own mission and their own focus, okay? The next thing is that, like, we'll always be level with you too. We're not doing that, hey, look what's going on over here, and then, like, this hand's doing something else. Okay? We're not going to do that with you. Like, what you see is what you get. All right? What you see is what you get. And then the last thing is that, you know, this goes along with one of those expectations from you guys is that, please, don't ever think that we're going to give you a piece of advice that we haven't done ourselves. Okay? We're not going to, like, give you some outlandish strategy that we feel like is going to be effective for you when we have not tried to put it in practice ourselves. Okay? We're going to try to help you gain from everybody's experience. Because even where we're at now, we may have not personally gone through that, but we have had somebody who has. And we have likely heard the conversation of that person who has gone through that. And so therefore we can let you know through their experience, you know, so that like vicarious experience, we can let you know that they tried something like that and that this was what happened and then this is what they learned from it, you know, and just kind of help give you additional strategies. All right? So I don't think that I have anything else today, but I just wanted to just set the tone. We're going to be doing these calls.